Hello, this is David, and welcome to Equity Story. Just having a look at the ASX 200. We did say last night on the video that not to panic, although the Dow was down. We do believe our market hasn't had that big move up, obviously, like the Dow, and and should hold levels a lot easier, even if there is a market pullback. So basically, the story was not to panic. And today, I think. We can see we've had a pretty good green day, which is a good sign. We've held above that sort of short-term trend line, and actually looking in some ways, you could argue more bullish than bearish. And again, if you look at the ASX 200 on a daily, on a weekly chart, we're bouncing off that 5,600 very, very nicely. We have the last 2 weeks, so I think the market is still pretty evenly balanced, and I think, to be honest, it is a real stock pickers market. And if you look at the Dow's the same. I mean, that's the Dow chart. What a great chart. I mean, the last 2 nights it's come down and fought its way back up in the last hour really, really well, and just hovering around that sort of 20-day moving average on the daily chart. So for me, it looks fine. Plus the fact you've got the Russell, the index, which was up last night, and again holding above the trend lines, looking absolutely fine. And you've got the S&P 500, which again last night looked even better. Had a sort of, I think it ended up more or less par, maybe 0.02% down or something, but again holding up very, very well, which is, gives a sort of a more broader perspective of what's going on in the States. So I think the market is, for me, it's, the idea of there's going to be this really, really strong pullback back to 18,000. I don't see any signs of it just yet. But the market's still, I think, generally tough. Some of the movements, there is a lot of fear out there in certain stocks, and certainly stocks, I think, that are running on sort of pretty high P ratios. What I'd like to I had a call today, and they said, Dave, what's your sort of favorite, would you say, trending stocks and stocks that over reporting season that you really sort of you like the trend and you're pretty strong that you think could do quite well. And certainly, I think the four that I really picked out and we talked about was TWE, which again, that chart looks fantastic, but I think fundamentally this is a great story. It's part of the great obviously China growth story, and again, I really do like the price action. It's I think it looks absolutely excellent, and hopefully by the end of the week it can settle around this sort of 1150 mark, which I think will set it up even better for the for the following week. Again, corporate travel. This is one of my favorite companies. It's one we've made a lot of money in Equity Story since we've opened the business, and again, I still like it. It's holding that short-term trend line. I think one of the big broking houses put out a pretty bullish assessment. I think Morgan Stanley tipped this stock to rise strongly on pretty positive earnings results in the next 30 days. So we'll see. But again, corporate travel, we like the trend. Certainly, I think fundamentally it's an absolutely fantastic story. As is Aristocrat. Again, these are companies that we've made money on in the past, and this stock a little bit down today, but holding that really short-term trend line. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. So again, we're really tipping this company to have some stronger earnings report. And ALU, again, a little bit down today, but actually this stock had a buy signal this week, so we thought it should go on with it. Again, the negative sentiment from Trump, I think, pulled it down the last yesterday, but again today it's sort of fighting back really well. So I think this could end the week with a nice little green candle, and certainly it was up today. Sort of it's looking quite bullish, up about 1.73% today, and it looks very, very good. Obviously the gold stocks that we say you got to have some gold, they look absolutely fine. Hansen Technologies, Ramsey, we're happy with all those. ALQ, BAB, obviously they've done a great acquisition recently. But I think one stock I would like to talk about is giving us a little bit of a scary moment is Domino's. Now, Domino's has been one of the best trending stocks really on the ASX 200 for last 3 or 4 years, and had a fantastic run up. And suddenly there's been, the last just sort of few days has been, this price action is fine. Really, it should have gone on with it here. We didn't mind last week. Now this is sort of looking a little bit scary. Now, what you got to do when you get this sort of price action is firstly say, why, what's going on here with Domino's. Yes, there's a bit, and why is it selling down? Is this because fundamentally there's a problem with the story? Is it fear for some factor? What we think with Domino's is, stocks that are really trading at high P's, if they do, if their earnings slightly miss, they get sold down really, really strongly. And the market is really nervous. And even you can say in a similar period last year, it sold down pretty strongly before it reported. It went down from sort of 60 down to sort of 48. So it had a really sort of decent fall. And again, it's doing the same now just before reporting in 2 weeks. And I think a little bit the market, it just shows the market is more nervous than ever at the moment. And I think the market is apprehensive that they might miss the earnings. Now, we don't believe that's a case. We just believe this is sort of a bit of market fear. And so, because we've broken the trend, we've taken it off as a buy, but we're going to keep it as a hold because really we believe fundamentally they're going to report very, very well. And we can have one of these big green candles and the trend will be back on in a few weeks. I think our decision was made, Morgan Stanley today put a target price on Domino's this year, 2017, at $100. That's nearly a 100% gain on where it is from now. And I'm not saying, it's $100, but our target price is $75 on this stock, and where we're going to take a nice profit. And we still believe we're going to do this. And the market is tough at the moment. There is this fear on some of the stocks with high P's. But again, you just got to strip the stock naked. You've got to stop looking at understand why the stock's moving as it is. And this is all about fear and greed. Stocks move with fear and greed. And at the moment, there's fear. And we don't want to be caught up in the fear. And, too many times in the past, you hear people saying, I sold it too low and then it bounced back really quickly. Well, we believe this will bounce back. And, at the moment, plus the fact, even if you were looking to buy the stock and you looked on as a risk-reward sort of proposition, you'd think the worst-case scenario, because, they've already implied that the revenue growth is going to be pretty strong a few months ago. You'd think if they slightly missed, the worst-case scenario would be $50. But the up sort of, I think most analysts have got an average target price around $85 to $90 on Domino's. So you'd think as a risk-reward play, it's a good buy around here. Possibly from a fundamental point of view, but obviously, like I said, it isn't really trending. So we're going to leave it as hold as a trending stock. But we do believe it's going to bounce up, and I think we could do quite well on it in the next few months. Just having a look at the weekly buy and sell signals again. Obviously, it was quite interesting. Again, in a really tough week, Fortescue, which is absolutely did fire, and it opened the week at 662 and is just went as high as 697. So obviously, just a bit of resistance around that $7 level. But again, we had 4 stocks with classic weekly buy signals. And again, it was great to see Fortescue totally outperforming the market. Like I said, ALU had a signal. I do believe that will be up by the end of the week. Hansen should have done a little bit better, but I think that sort of sentiment will improve by the end of the week because, again, I think this is a fantastic, strong company. The one that did look a little bit weak was obviously the bank CYB. Had a buy signal, maybe not the greatest of buy signals, and certainly didn't click. Found a little bit of support around that sort of 40-day sort of moving average on a weekly, but I think that will end the week obviously lower. I think that's all I've got to talk about tonight in Equity Story, and I look forward to bringing you the report tomorrow. Thank you. Good night.